Let's learn a shtickle Toldos Shimshon on Perekei Avos, Perekei, Mishnah Gimel. The Mishnah says, "Have a zehirim beroshus." Be very careful and be very wary when it comes to the government. She'ein mekarben loy la'odom ela letzorich atzman. They only are friendly with people only when it's for their benefit. Nirim ka'oyavim b'shas ha'na'ason. They look as if they love you and they're friendly with you as long as they're benefiting from you. But they're not there for you when it's your time of need. The government is not there to stand by your side. The Toldos Shimshon explains this Mishnah with the Truvas Maharik. There was a question sent to the Maharik. There was a city that the governor said that if you lend him money, he told the people in the city, if you lend him money, then he's going to cut the taxes. Anybody who had a store had to pay taxes. And he said, it was on a monthly basis they had to pay taxes. If they're going to lend him a certain amount of money, then he's going to cut the taxes of every month. And after they lent him the money, the governor decided that he's not cutting the taxes. He didn't keep his word. He took the loan, but he kept the taxes high. Then the governor died, and his Yoshim, his children that took over the government, they had Rachmanis on the city that they lent the money, and they decided that they're going to cut the taxes, that what the father promised to cut the taxes, they would do it. Now, in between, when they lent the money till now, there were some stores who closed down, they went out of business. So they were not benefiting now from the tax cut, because now they didn't have any store, any business running, so therefore they didn't have to pay the taxes. So now that they were getting a tax cut, they were not benefiting, even though they originally were the ones that gave part of the loan to the government. So these Yechidim, these people that they went out of business, came with a taina that we also want to benefit from these tax cuts, because at the time of the loan, we lent the money, and he promised that he would give us cuts in the taxes. He didn't keep his word. Now that the children are giving this tax cut, we're not benefiting because we don't have a store. So therefore we want to have some part of that money that they're giving now to the city. And the people in the city tied it back, that money was lost. Once you gave it to the governor and he didn't keep his word, that money was lost. Now that the children are giving us a tax cut, that's like hefker, that's a new thing. That's not connected to the loan. And they sent this question to the Maharik. And Maharik answered that the people in the city are right, because the money was lost once they gave the money to the government, to the governor, and he didn't keep his words. Of course they were meyayish, they gave up, that they're never getting that money back. And they're never getting their tax cuts. Now that the children decided to have Rachmanis and they gave the tax cuts, that's a new thing that's not connected to the loan, and therefore those people that went out of business have no taina that they should also benefit from these tax cuts. Based on this Maharik, says the Toldos Shimshon, is mamish our whole Mishnah. The Mishnah says, have a zehirim beroshus. Be very careful and be very wary. Don't trust the government. When they tell you, lend us money and we'll cut your taxes, try to get out of it. Have a zehirim beroshus. Be very careful. Don't trust them, because they're going to promise and they're not going to keep their word. Why is that? They only promise you things only when it's for their benefit, and therefore their haftacha, their promise, means nothing. Once you lend them the money, they're not going to keep their word. Because the Mishnah says, Nirim ka'oyavim, they look like they're friends with you. That you lend me money and I'll cut your taxes. But Nirim ka'oyavim, they only look like they're friendly, b'shas ha'na'ason, when they're benefiting. And when they need your money, when they need your loan, then they're promising you that they're going to give you tax cuts. But don't trust them. Have a zehirim beroshus. Try to get out of it if possible. And then, even if you get lucky, that eventually maybe there'll be children that have Rachmanis, and they will give you the tax cuts, but that's not going to help you. That's not going to benefit you. Even when the haftacha, when the word is kept later on, you already lost your money. Even though you are b'shas dochka and you don't have your store anymore, like in the case of the Marik, you're not going to gain from the tax cuts. After your store closes, you're not going to benefit from those tax cuts anyway, because like the Marik Paskind, that once you lent the money and the governor said he's not keeping his word, now even if the children are going to keep it, when you're stuck and your store closed down and you're coming with a taina that you want to get those benefits, it's not going to stand there for you. In the schus of the Toldos Shimshon, may we have bracha and atzlocha b'chol onyonim.